Let's jump into Eschatology, a biblical study of end-time events. Look at your screen. We're in topic 14, Mystery Babylon discussion part 2. We've really completed this particular topic, but we're turned into an excursus which seeks to answer common objections to the idea of the discussion and the identity of who Mystery Babylon is. So who did I say Mystery Babylon was? Turning to the book that you can see on your screen right now, I, along with Chris White, who is a Christian author, he's a fellow pre-wrather such as myself, he's also a fellow futurist such as myself. He wrote the book entitled Mystery Babylon When Jerusalem Embraces the Antichrist, an exposition of Revelation 17 and 18. His proposal, his thesis, is that the end time Jerusalem that enters into Daniel's 70th week, she's Mystery Babylon, the city itself. So let's pick up the reading in my study right now. This is Roman numeral 7, final conclusions, purging, promise, and prophetic coherence. When all is said and done, it can be satisfactorily demonstrated that our survey of the baptismal framework also clarifies the language of purging emphasized by Chris White, particularly in Ezekiel 20:38. Let me read that passage for you. I will purge the rebels from among you. Chris White focuses more on Jerusalem's destruction from the topographical perspective, and I'm focusing more on what you could say is the covenantal identity. The old man, the old nature of Jerusalem must die in order for the new nature to be reborn. Purging, I say in my notes here, is not an annihilation of Israel, but separation. It's the removal of what cannot inherit the kingdom. Just like Yeshua said, flesh and blood cannot inherit. What does that mean? It means the old nature, the old man. It's a way of the Bible explaining to us that only that which is regenerated, that which is reborn, can inherit. The flood, I say, accomplishes this precisely. It destroys the apostate majority who worship the beast while preserving and refining the faithful remnant. So what we're noticing is that when we cast Jerusalem into this picture as the primary candidate, we don't have to object so strongly to the possibility of, or the impossibility of, Mystery Babylon being eschatological Jerusalem. We remove the barrier, what we call the paradox of Jerusalem being the place of Yeshua's throne in the millennium, yet at the same time, she was that harlot that was destroyed in Revelation 17 and 18. We remove that objection now because we, as I say in my notes, seen this way, Jerusalem's destruction does not negate God's promises to Israel. It doesn't negate them. The flood does not wash away covenant fidelity. That's the key. Even though she suffers this destruction, the promises are secure. This flood that's going to come, it's going to wash away covenant betrayal. And that's exactly what it does for us as individuals. When we get baptized, we're not taking a bath. We're washing away covenant betrayal. So what remains is true. Once covenant betrayal is washed away, whatever is left is that which is true in God's eyes. True Israel will shine forth, born again in a single day, ready to dwell securely under Messiah's reign.